Imagine waking up one morning and everything is different. This is precisely what happened to Gregor Samsa. He wasn't his usual self. No, Gregor had become something quite unexpected, a monstrous insect. Picture this, a hard, rounded back, numerous little legs and feelers waving in the air. What a sight to behold. This bizarre transformation is where our story begins. Gregor's new form was shocking, to say the least. He felt confused and disoriented. His once familiar room now seemed alien and vast. The transformation was complete, inside and out. Gregor was trapped in a body he didn't recognize, filled with a creeping sense of dread. Gregor's first instinct was to go back to sleep. Maybe this was all a bad dream. But as he tried to roll over, he realized this was his new reality. His limbs felt strange and unwieldy. Imagine trying to move with countless tiny legs. It was a comical yet horrifying experience for poor Gregor. Despite the shock, Gregor still clung to his human thoughts and feelings. He worried about missing his train to work. Imagine his boss's reaction. "You're late because you turned into a bug?" He tried to call out, but only strange clicking noises escaped his mouth. This was just the beginning of Gregor's surreal and isolating journey. News of Gregor's transformation spread through the house like wildfire. His mother, father, and sister, Grete, were horrified. Can you imagine their faces? Their reactions to Gregor's new form were a mix of fear, disgust, and disbelief. They were utterly unprepared for this sudden, shocking change in their lives. At first, they were cautious. His mother, overcome with worry, could only sob. His father, a stern man, reacted with anger and disgust. Only Grete, his younger sister, showed a glimmer of sympathy. She would become Gregor's unlikely caretaker in the days that followed. Gregor's life took a dark turn. Confined to his room, he became a prisoner in his own home. He longed for connection with his family, but his monstrous form filled them with fear and revulsion. Imagine their horror at seeing him scuttle across the floor. Communication became impossible, deepening his isolation. Days turned into weeks. Gregor's existence became one of solitude and quiet desperation. He spent his time hiding under furniture, avoiding the light. His once vibrant life had been reduced to a shadow of its former self. The weight of his situation, his inability to connect, pushed him further into despair. Section 5. A father's frustration. Gregor's father, once a passive presence, transformed into a figure of anger and resentment. He saw Gregor's transformation as a personal attack, a burden on the family. His frustration grew with each passing day, manifesting in acts of aggression towards Gregor. One day, in a fit of rage, Gregor's father pelted him with apples. Can you imagine the pain and humiliation? One apple lodged in his back, a constant painful reminder of his father's rejection. This act of violence highlighted the breakdown of their relationship and the depth of Gregor's alienation. Section 6. Grete's changing role. Grete, initially sympathetic, found herself overwhelmed by the demands of caring for Gregor. Cleaning his room, bringing him food, it all became too much. The once strong bond between siblings began to fray under the strain of Gregor's new reality. With time, even Grete's empathy waned. She began to see Gregor as a burden, a hindrance to the family's well-being. The girl who once cared for him now saw him as a monster. This shift in Grete's attitude marked a turning point in Gregor's tragic journey. Section 7. A Glimmer of Hope. One evening, drawn by the sound of music, Gregor crept out of his room. He was captivated by Grete's violin playing. For a moment he felt a flicker of his old self, a longing for beauty and connection. But his appearance terrified the family, shattering the fragile peace. Gregor's attempt to reconnect backfired dramatically. His presence instilled fear, not love. His family, once again reminded of his monstrous form, retreated in horror. It was a stark reminder that Gregor's transformation was irreversible, his isolation complete. Section 8. The Inevitable End. As Gregor's physical condition deteriorated, so too did his will to live. He felt increasingly isolated, a burden on the family he loved. The once vibrant salesman was now a shadow, his life a bleak reflection of his former self. One morning, the cleaning lady found Gregor dead in his room. There was a sense of relief, a quiet acceptance of the inevitable. His death, although tragic, brought a sense of closure to the family. They could finally move on from the nightmare that had consumed their lives. Section 9, Kafka's Bleak Message. Kafka's Metamorphosis is more than just a story about a man turning into a bug. It's a reflection on the human condition, a chilling exploration of alienation, isolation, and the fragility of identity. Gregor's transformation serves as a metaphor for the challenges we all face in life. The story forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves and our relationships. It highlights how quickly life can change, how easily we can become isolated from those we love. It's a bleak, yet powerful reminder of the importance of empathy, understanding, and the need for human connection in an often unforgiving world.